I'm in the last month of development for my game Project Torrim, but before I release the game I need to fix bugs and get the game to run well, as there are a number of situations where it can get laggy. Last week I added pooling for various objects including particles, enemies and projectiles, which helped improve the game a lot. However, there are still some remaining issues. These issues are mostly making sure the different types of projectiles, towers and enemies behave properly since the pooling was added, but I also ended last week suspecting there was a memory leak somewhere. As I start this week, I'm less confident in that assertion, but I know the performance needs to be tested. So I'm going to kick off by testing everything I suspect might cause performance issues and see what I can do to fix them. How's it going everybody, I'm Lewis, also known as Skeffels, and welcome to the 44th devlog for Project Torrim, my Iron Age fantasy tower defense game. Before I get too far into game development discussion, I recently passed 400 subscribers, so I want to thank everybody that is currently subscribed to my channel. It's an amazing milestone to reach, even though I feel the numbers are artificially inflated from older videos I've made. That being said, I have gained 177 new subscribers since starting devlogs, which is fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen this much growth or interaction on my channel. Back to development, it's been a day and I've done some tests with the enemies, towers and projectiles, and I noticed some significant issues with the projectiles. When a lot spawn together the game starts to lag, so this is going to be my main focus. I'm just over halfway through my week, and I've made some changes to projectiles to help improve their performance. The first thing I noticed was that the check to see how far the projectile has travelled took up most of the processing for each projectile, so I switched it to a time-based system. This means it no longer has to check the distance between the spawn position and the current position, just how many ticks it has remaining. The second thing I noticed was that there was 2 particle systems for each projectile, so I've limited it to just one. This removes the highlight in the trail, but I don't think anyone's going to notice that, and I can always look at doing slightly different patterns on the trails anyway. Whilst making all these changes, I tested all the projectile variations and noticed the explosion projectile really causes some terrible lag. This was because I missed out pooling on it last week. Once I added pooling, I tested it again and it ran very well. With the projectiles working, I've noticed some of the towers need some performance checks. In particular the ballista, chain and freezer towers, which I'm going to finish off my week looking at. It's come to the end of my development week and I think I've got some great progress with the towers. The first tower I fixed was the freezer tower. It was looping through its list of enemies to tell them to slow down, which is unnecessary. Now it just uses the collision start event to instantly tell the enemies this. The second tower I fixed was the chainer. It had some struggles with pooling, as behind the scenes it essentially has an invisible tower. So I had to write some pooling for that tower and the projectile itself. The third and final tower I fixed was the ballista. Ballistas constantly updated their sprite and watch area because they didn't use the standard radius that the other towers do. So I removed the constant calls to this code in favour of using events to call them when necessary. These changes seem great, but before I get to my thoughts on them and my plans for next week, I want to mention my Twitch stream. Last week I streamed Theme Hospital, which is a game I struggled to understand as a child, but in the stream I thoroughly enjoyed. This week I'll be streaming once again after this devlog airs, so that's 2:15 GMT at twitch.tv/Skeffels. Join the stream, say hi and have a relaxed chat with me. This week I plan on streaming City Skylines, which I've never played before, but I've heard great things. Turning back to Project Torrim, I think this week went well, as I fixed a lot of bugs that caused performance issues. However, I don't think these fixes were concerted enough to fix fundamental performance issues in the game, as there's still significant lag that builds up when playing for a while. Because of this, I feel like I'm in the same position as last week, only this time I have a plan. I'm going to take Streger's Gates advice and add some tooling to time different systems in the game. I'll then be able to use this information to target areas to work on next week. So make sure you subscribe to get notified when I release the devlog on that. What do you think of this? At this point I think I've gone crazy, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed watching this devlog for Project Torrim. Leave the video a like to let me know you did. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.